It's me again. I want to address some questions and some issues that so many times we feel but are afraid to say out loud. A week ago today, we learned that our home was not destroyed the way that we thought it was going to be, and the way that we had been told that it would be. There were a lot of prayers going on. We live about 20 miles south of Cape Canaveral. The eye of Hurricane Matthew was projected to sit on top of our house. And throughout that night, it was held about 40 miles west or east of our coast. And our home suffered very minimal damage. And we were so thankful. And we are so thankful. And we pulled back up into the driveway on Saturday morning with tears, realizing that not only was our home there, it was in one piece. We still had power. There was no water in our house. The minimal damage was, down trees and some damage to our pool cage, which kind of needed to be redone anyway. So with thankful hearts, we were just rejoicing. And we went to church on Sunday. And of course, the whole place is just so thankful, and we're praising God, and we are so thankful. But at the same time, I couldn't help this nagging feeling in my heart. Just these questions, why not us and why them? I couldn't stop thinking about the folks to the north of us in Jacksonville and St. Augustine and Georgia and the Carolinas. They prayed as hard as we did. Why were they hit and we were spared? I want us to understand that if you look at the Psalms, King David, who is called a man after God's own heart, always took those thoughts to the Lord. He did not hide them. I could have internalized those thoughts and allowed them to make me bitter and angry, and I could just walk away and spend months distant from the Lord. But I know that what the Lord wants is for us to take those cares to Him, lay them at His feet, and allow Him to minister to us. He understands our confusion, but He sees the end from the beginning, and He is God, and He's in the midst of my blessing as much as He is in the midst of someone else's pain. So He spoke to my heart, and I just felt the words that He's working out His purposes in each life. And that's kind of what He told me. It's like, I understand, I know it's confusing, but trust me that I am working out my purposes in each life. He sees us as individuals. He knows exactly what is needed at the time. He's there. Years ago, Tim and I experienced the loss of a baby. I went to hear the heartbeat, and it wasn't there, and we lost that child, and it was my darkest moment, something I had always feared and really didn't know how we would handle it. But I have to tell you, the moment I hit rock bottom, whoosh, the power of God was there. I mean, mind-blowing. Scriptures that I had believed and shared and claimed all my life were put to the test and came to life like never before. I saw them take shape. I saw them happen. God was there. And I have to believe and I have to know that just as He was there with me in that pain and that dark moment, and He came right in there and lifted me out, I have to know that when I hear situations of other people who are going through devastating circumstances, that same God is right by their side, knows exactly how to minister to them, and He is there. Also, our faith grows in trial and pain like no other way. We would never ask for these circumstances. We would never say, God, bring me a loss, a death, a painful situation so that I might grow closer to You. We would never say that. We know that a bone broken grows back stronger, but who's going to say, please break my bones so they'll be stronger? Nobody. But yet the final outcome after that pain is sometimes greater than if that pain had never existed. Romans chapter 5, verses 3 and 4 say, moreover, let us also be full of joy now. Let us exult and triumph in our troubles and rejoice in our suffering, knowing that this hardship and this affliction and this pressure produces patient and unswerving endurance. And endurance develops maturity of character, approved faith and tried integrity. The character of this sort produces the habit of joyful confidence and hope. And then if you go over to James chapter 1, consider it wholly joyful, my brethren, whenever you are enveloped or encounter trials of any sort or fall into various temptations, Be assured and understand that the trial and the proving of your faith bring out endurance and steadfast patience. But let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work, that you may be people perfectly and fully developed, with no defect, lacking nothing. We can never become fully developed without trials, but yet we'd never ask for those trials. But there is an opportunity to grow, to feel and experience the presence and the power of God in the midst of a trial like there is never an opportunity for when everything is going great. It is hard. It's not easy. And I have learned I have to not put myself in the place of those other people. And I need to be sympathetic and I need to help in every way I can. But I can't mentally go there because I'm not in that trial. And God is not giving me grace in this moment for the trial that they are experiencing because He is giving them grace for their trial. I'm not in their trial. Does that make sense? But I can look back and remember when I was in my trial, my God was there. And my faith grew and grew and grew. I would have never asked for that pain, but I am beyond thankful for that growth. Most of us know the story of Job. Awesome, faithful man of God. But he was rich and he was great. And when all of that was stripped away, and he experienced pain like he'd never known, he lost his family, he lost his land, he lost everything. His health, all of it. At the end of that book, Job says, before all this, I had heard about God. But now I have seen the Lord. That gives me chills. He had heard about God before his pain and his trial and his tragedy. He knew about the Lord. He knew the verses. He could, if we bring it into today's terms, he could quote all those Sunday school answers. But until he went through the darkest of dark days and the most painful pain he'd ever experienced, it wasn't until he went through that now he could say, I have seen God. And Job said, I know my Redeemer lives. Wow. Take those thoughts with you. And one last thing. In our faith and our walk with the Lord, it is not easy to accept things. But something the Lord laid on my heart a few years ago. We must accept His sovereignty to maintain our sanity. We live in a crazy world. We can't explain what's going on. Jesus told us in this world, you will have trouble. He told us that. He said, but take heart, I have overcome this world. We can stand on that. So, to maintain your sanity, accept His sovereignty. Trust the Lord. He is perfect in all of His ways. Hope this helps. Love you guys.